Welcome to Your Iconic Image. If you want to take control of your image and be a power player in your space, then this is the show for you. Here we will arm you with tools and information to help you grow your brand on purpose. I'm your host, Marlana Semenza, photographer and visual strategist. Now let's dive into today's episode. Carli Batson has experienced the past year as Miss North Carolina 2021. Originally from Wilmington and a current senior at Appalachian State University, Carli appropriately studies communication, public relations, and minors in theater arts, since that's where her passion lies. She is proud to be a first-generation college graduate in May 2022 and a debt-free one, thanks to the Miss North Carolina and Miss America organizations. Welcome, Carli.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today, Marlana. I'm so excited to do this.
So here's the thing. June of 2021, they announce your name, you win a title, and you get thrown into the public eye. What has been the best part of that?
Oh my goodness, that's such a hard question to start off with, but I get this question quite often. And what I always say, and what will probably always be my answer, is the amount of people that I've been able to meet, but the amount of different types of people I've been able to meet. In one weekend, I could be at the Poultry Jubilee, and then at a senior citizen center, and then reading to students. And you never get to really understand how broad our state is as a community, and how different we are and how special and unique that is until you're kind of in a position like this. So I've been super grateful for that, and being able to make so many connections this year, and hopefully some professional connections going forward. And it's just the journey of being myself. I think in this conversation, we'll get into it more, but that's what a lot of people forget. When the crown gets put on your head, or you get an amazing opportunity, they forget that you're an actual human being with actual real human being problems too. So it's been difficult to balance everything, especially still being a full-time student. I'm graduating in a couple days from Appalachian State. So being able to balance everything has been kind of chaotic, but I couldn't have done it without the amazing support system I have, and how welcoming our state has been of myself, even with all of the challenges that I brought to the table on my own.
So what do you think has been the most difficult part of the job, or the part that you wish that you had been either better prepared for or better warned about?
Right. So I think in today's society as a whole, the role of a title holder, especially in the Miss America organization, has turned from, she's still a social advocate in her community, but even more so, she has to be able to display that on social media and almost become more of an influencer on social media. So that was something I was completely uncomfortable with moving into this role. I didn't have very much of a social media presence to begin with. I wasn't super comfortable talking and being candid and transparent on social media. So at the beginning of my reign, figuring out what I wanted my Instagram to look like and what I wanted, my social media presence to portray was quite difficult. And if I'm being quite honest with myself, I have grown to find out that what I was doing at the start of my year on the internet wasn't exactly what I needed to be doing. Everything was kind of posed and perfect, and I was trying super hard to only display my best self online. But what I've learned is that that's not what people want to see. They don't really care about the curls and the makeup and the eyelashes and the crowns and the sparkles. They want to know what I'm doing on a Tuesday afternoon, Monday afternoon. So that's been a challenge for sure. I wish I had been a bit more prepared, but in that challenge, I think I have become a lot more comfortable with myself and a lot more comfortable displaying myself in a public eye as just who I am. And, I'm just a regular girl next door. I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina. We're a blue collar shift working family. My family doesn't come from much. I'm not a prima donna princess by any means. I'm just someone that was given an incredible opportunity, and I want to make it clear and known, not only across our state, but in the world, that that opportunity is available for anyone, even people that are just like me.
So how do you draw the line between your personal life and what you want to keep private versus how much people seem to want from you?
It's challenging. I think it's very situational. I think to a certain extent, it's important to be transparent and authentic on social media. But at the same time, some of the struggles that I experience and some of the experiences that I have in my life are personal to me or my family or my friends. So being able to kind of share more so what I'm feeling than necessarily the situation. I found that in the Miss America organization and in the Miss North Carolina organization, there are a lot of not secrets, but secrets that you might have to hold back before they're officially announced by the organization itself. So in those things this past year, I would be stressed out about something huge that was happening at the Miss America competition, but I couldn't tell the world that. They couldn't know that. So it was more so being like gearing up for Miss America, stressful, doing this, balancing this, and all the things, but not necessarily saying, hey, world, this is exactly what's going on right now. Come into my life, because that does get a little scary. And I think overall, in a bigger sense, beyond social media, it's about keeping your circle small. And I have to say that the group of people that have supported and surrounded me before I was crowned Miss North Carolina are still the people that I go to for advice and to vent and to have my truest, most raw conversations with.
And that's so important to have our circle that support us. Has it ever been, not that, and I don't want to in any way it to seem that you aren't completely grateful for this job and opportunity, but has it ever been too much at times? Has it ever really gotten to you, the weight of it all?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, incredibly and extremely grateful for the opportunity and I would take all the stress and all the chaos because of all the magic that comes with it. Absolutely. But absolutely, it has gotten too much. I remember right around November, we were gearing up for the huge Miss America competition in December. And I actually had to break up with my boyfriend, and things got real, and Carli's life really had to take the forefront for a good amount of time. But I was in the height of prepping for Miss America. So I was going from mock interviews to therapy to all sorts of events across our state as Miss North Carolina. And that was a lot. So I just had to look at myself one day and tell myself that you can't do this job if you don't take care of yourself. We have to block in the meals. We have to block in showering. We have to block in homework time. We have to do these normal human things that normal people would do all the time, but for some reason I was forgetting because of everything else that was on my plate. But my body was just telling me to stop, stop and eat, stop and take a shower, stop and call your best friend, stop and call your mom. And I just had to reach out to my executive director and my Miss North Carolina team and say, hey, look, I know the Miss America pageant is coming up in a few weeks, but I feel like I'm about to fall apart. Can I just take a week to breathe? And they were like, oh my gosh, we had no idea. Please take as much time as you need. Let us know if we can help you. So in that moment, what I learned most is that sometimes when we aren't okay, or sometimes when things feel like they're too much, everyone around us isn't experiencing that internally. So you have to be able to vocalize it, and you have to kind of knock your ego to the side just a bit and have that conversation with the people that can help you and have the resources to help you. Because doing it all on my own wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. So let's talk about mental health for a minute and dive into that a little bit more. In what ways has this been a challenge to your mental health, and what have you done to try and take care of that?
Yeah, so I think in being any sort of public figure or having a role that makes you a present figure, whether that's in your community or your state or even across the country, it is a big toll on just your self-image. Comparison issues have been maxed this year. So what I've really had to work on personally is being my best self. And sometimes my best self doesn't look like Miss Colorado's best self or Miss South Carolina's best self or whomever. You're surrounded and you're in this community with incredible, accomplished, talented, beautiful women. So it's hard to look in the mirror and put yourself on the same kind of level as the people that you have daily conversations with. So kind of looking at myself in a higher stance than I had before in the past was a big jump for me at first. And really understanding that, you know, I was given this opportunity, not only because that they had faith in me, but because I proved to the judges that they could trust me this year with this title and these obligations and these opportunities. So that's something that I earned, just like the next girl. But comparison, and especially with social media and the technology we have today, has definitely been the biggest struggle. But I also have to say the Sisterhood of Miss America does a great job of shutting that down. It's hard to shut down in your own brain, but the first second I start to feel down about myself or less confident, I know that I have 51 sisters across the state on my phone, and then the Miss North Carolina organization and the family that we've created in the sisterhood there is so strong. And all of those women, just as incredible as they are on paper and their resumes and their accolades and the things that they could list and impress you with for days, they're also just really great friends and true women that puts supporting other women and highlighting them before themselves, which is really awesome.
Yeah. You know, I have various clients and friends that as they have emerged more into the public eye, when you become more visible and people start watching what you do and following you and things like that, they start to think that they know you and can get sometimes, I know from other clients, a little more familiar than you really are. Yeah. Have you ever experienced that? And, you know, how do you navigate that portion?
This makes me think of a time I was really struggling with my relationship with food and not really in a look at myself, I don't like the way I look way, but just in finding time to take care of myself and eat and nurture my body in the way that it needed to be. And I posted a picture in a gown. It was like National Gown Day on Instagram. So I posted a picture in a gown, and here comes the Karens jumping on, ready to tell me, you know, how thin I looked, how unhealthy I looked. You know, it looked like I was about to fall over, da, 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 da. And those were the last things that I needed to hear. So I think really what's helped me the most is tuning out the haters and tuning out the people that you know don't have any sort of value in the conversation of your life, in the conversation of who you are, where you want to go, what you're doing. You're never going to meet these people. Most of them, if you click on their feed and their profile, they're just computer bots to begin with. They're not even real humans. So really not letting the words get to me and focusing on, you know, am I being a good friend? Am I being a good daughter? Am I being a good title holder? Am I being a good student? Am I being a good ally? These things are far more important than if Karen thinks I look okay on Facebook. So it's just having to look at something from a bigger picture and not getting too drawn into the haters, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. And, you know, I also want to touch on this too, because a woman that we both knew, Chesley Christ, several months ago committed suicide, and she was so accomplished and I know the gold standard for a lot of people in the pageant community and a lot of people just in general,
Right.
because she was outstanding in so many ways. And I know that that rocked me a little bit. And I saw it kind of rocked you and a lot of the girls in the Miss North Carolina and Miss America and Miss USA organizations.
Right.
What did that do to you? Her
Oh, so Chesley's death completely gut punched me. It came at a time in my life where I wasn't taking care of myself, wasn't doing well, wasn't feeling my best, but still was having this social media presence where if you clicked on my page, you wouldn't know that at all. So I was heartbroken, and I tried my best to stay off the internet for as long as I could. But then something happened inside me that I think Chesley was able to do for a lot of us, especially pageant girls, that it kind of lit this fire in me. And I was like, wait a second, these people that follow me, the 25,000 people that follow me, they have 6 more months to get to know me. I'm going to tell them the truth. Like, it's done. There's nothing to portray. There's no one to convince anymore. And I think at the time of Chesley's passing, as gut punched and hurt we all were and confused and searching for answers, we really understood the importance of being honest, even when it's hard, and really showing maybe the not so pretty side of what we do as pageant holders. So I think it was a day or two after the news, I made this post, and it was basically pictures of me in a sash and a crown with tears streaming down my face, me asleep on the couch in my apartment after a long day. It was just, the raw, honest truth of not every day is sunshine and sparkles and rainbows. There are those days, and those days are fabulous. And that's what keeps us all doing this job. But roped in and weaved into these incredible opportunities and amazing moments is real life and due dates and deadlines and, work that has to be done within yourself, that we can't really forget about. And I think in social media as a whole, not only in the pageant community, we do a really bad job of just putting, the prettiest pictures or the best looks, I'm doing great. Look at my resume. Look at all these things I've done, without saying, I couldn't be at this yesterday because I had therapy, because I deal with anxiety and depression every single day. And I just think we're at a time in our life that that's okay to talk about, and it's important to talk about. And so with Chesley's passing, for me, it really just even more so encouraged that, you only have a certain amount of time left in this job. Make it count, and make it available to the next Miss North Carolina and the next Miss North Carolina to be able to have that open space on social media and be able to, portray who they really are, not just what they want the world to see.
Yeah, a sad but good thing I think that came out of that is that it seemed like a reality check for many, and it gave a lot of women permission to say, yeah, I'm not okay too.
For sure. Absolutely.
And it's really so important to be able to have those conversations, don't you think?
Absolutely. I remember seeing just, the floods of Facebook posts and Instagram and text messages on my phone, conversations that I had in person with people that, after Chesley's passing, it really was that reality check of, wait a second, I know her. Like, I know that girl. I've been there too. I've had those feelings. I've thought about that. So yeah, it's sad. But if anything, I think Chesley's death really might have rescued a lot more of us than we think.
Which is the thing that I think is the beautiful thing that came out of it. If there's a beautiful thing to come out of it. Right.
Yeah.
So what would you say to any girl that has your position going forward, or any position in the public space going forward?
I'd say keep your circle small. Know who is really in that circle for your best interest. Not their best interest, not their business's best interest, your sole best interest, not Miss North Carolina's best interest, but your sole best interest, and cling to those people, trust in those people, talk to those people, have great communication skills, not just on stage. Have those communication skills with your boss, have those communication skills with your travel manager, your business manager, your social media person. Everyone in your close circle, whether that's your mom, your dad, your friends, or your boss, you need to have those ties of communication open for the sole purpose of something not going smooth and easy. Because most of the time, these people have you on board and you're just along for the ride and everything is smooth and easy. They do a great job of making sure you have everything you need and that you're supported in the best way possible. But there are times that can't happen or won't happen. And I know, with the pandemic, we weren't sure exactly what was going on at all. So the key there was really just having those conversations, having great conversation skills, and keeping those lines of communication open, and transparent.
What would you say is the one thing out of this experience that changed you the most?
Ooh, that's hard because I want to say like everything wrapped together because everything has been so different. So maybe that will be my answer.
Okay.
I don't think I can pick just one thing. I think every bit of this experience in this journey, whether I was modeling a Giovanni Couture gown in a Fair to Remember fashion show, or I was on my hands and knees in the street at the Scuppernong River Festival talking to a little girl, all of these things combined have made me grow as a human 10 times. Just how easy, I don't know how to word this, how confident I am in meeting someone new, no matter what they look like, what I think they might be interested in, where they come from, socioeconomic status, none of the above matters. And that was something that I was not comfortable with before this experience at all. In the 2 times prior that I competed for Miss North Carolina, I kind of started to see the growth a bit. But it really wasn't until this year and being kind of thrown into a lot of different things. I was kind of forced to, sorry to say this, balls up and, be the woman that I was hired to be at an event, but also who I wanted to be and, how I wanted to inspire and share the message of this organization and share the message of my social impact initiative and share the message of what I believe and what I encourage others, which is just kind of plainly being a good human. Not to go into crazy political or religious things, we won't go there, but basically my rule book of life is treat others the way you want to be treated and be a good human, be a good friend, be a good ally, stick up for other people how you would want them to stick up for you. And just being able to share that across the state, I think has even so enforced it in my own life, which has made me grow into such a better human, and all of those things and all of the positions that I have in my life.
Which is wonderful. And one thing I noticed in working with you and also working with Alexandra before you and then Laura before her is all 3 of you are so good at being present in every opportunity and every situation that you are put into, which I think is another beautiful thing because not everyone does that.
Right.
And I think it allows you to really enrich the experience and remember the experience and get all that you can out of that experience.
It does, absolutely. And I think in being present, you can't really be your most present, tapped in, focused self unless you are being your true self. So I think those things go hand in hand. And I know the sisterhood is very strong, but Alex specifically and I have a really great relationship. So she has been such a good friend and sister and all of the above to pick up the phone and call this year. She's come to some events with me, which has been incredible since her years were kind of crazy with COVID. But yeah, I think being present is really the key, because you might not want to stand on your feet in heels all day long, but two things. One, 50 other women, or less than that, more than that, wanted to stand in those shoes all day long. So understand that. And then B, you're not going to be able to stand in these shoes forever. So really soak it in, take every second that you have to, take mental images. I know you're the photographer, but I take mental images in my head of what's going on around me, just to kind of, see the big picture, soak it all in, see what kind of impact you're making in either the lives of others or in the community or within an organization, whatever it may be. It's really powerful.
What do you hope is next for you?
So lots of things are happening for me right now. I'm graduating in a few days, which is insane, from Appalachian State. I'm a communications PR major. So my goal at first was to kind of combine my love for theater and performance with my love for business and crisis communication and HR and all of those things, and take a backseat in performance opportunities and kind of work in the office side of that. But I think I might have an opportunity coming up in more of a broadcasting reporting role in my hometown of Wilmington, North Carolina. So none of that is finalized, but I think for me as a person, I've always been the type of person that will take an opportunity, even if they're not 100% secure in it, and kind of figure it out as it goes. It's what I did with Miss North Carolina. It's what I've done as a student here at Appalachian State. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be, and I might hate it, and I might not like it at all, and it might not work out. But if it's landed in my lap, I want to take that opportunity. I want to see what happens from it. I want to learn as much as I can from something new, because I think there's always something to learn in something new. But who knows? So for now, I'm heading back home to Wilmington, and hopefully you might see me on a TV screen pretty soon.
I hope so. And with that, Carli, I just have 4 final questions for you.
Okay.
First one is, what is the best piece of advice you were ever given?
The best piece of advice I was ever given was probably from my grandma, and it goes along with our conversation entirely, but she basically said that you have to love people boundlessly. You have to love them past their flaws. You have to love them past their insecurities, past those mean words they might have said to you in the past when they were hungry. You have to look past all of the superficialness. And when you love someone and you have decided to have them in your life, you have to take them as they are, because if you don't, they won't take you as you are. And you're not always sunshine and lollipops. And if you want those people to love you at your lowest or, at your ugliest, as much as they love you when you're being crowned Miss North Carolina, then you have to do the same.
Love it. Share with us one thing on your bucket list.
Okay, one thing on my bucket list, I'm a theater junkie, if you haven't noticed, and I'm obsessed with musicals, and I want to go to like the Greek islands where they shot Mamma Mia. I think those are beautiful. So if anyone has any details on getting me to the Greek islands, please contact me.
When the toy companies finally get around to making an action figure of you, what 2 accessories will it come with?
Oh man. So the first accessory for sure would probably be my cell phone, which is really lame to say. I know it is, but this thing has my entire world on it right now. And it's really been such an outlet for me this past year, which is wild. I never thought that a dumb cell phone could have so much power and emphasis in my life. But also, this isn't an accessory, but it would have to have the bob. It would just have to have the bob haircut. I think any Carli anything has to have the haircut.
Love it. And the last one, how do people find you?
So you can find me on Facebook as Miss North Carolina, Carli Batson, and then on Instagram at Miss America in C.
Love it. Thank you, Carli, and thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Once again, I'm Marlana Semenza, photographer and visual strategist. Please comment, like, or share this episode, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more information on how I can help you create your iconic image, visit marlanasemenza.com.